That was my question to her too. I was like, what do you know?
Again, it's what I'm telling you. I don't think it's hard to find stuff on them. The fact that I've known them for so long, but what I don't understand is no matter if they think I'm the devil, I'm this, I'm that, they know me well enough to know, like I've been on this planet long enough to know that I would not walk in there and say all these things out of left field. I wouldn't. I went there. One of the things for me, and I do want to address this, is that's been the hardest is, you know, when we've seen the videos of your podcast and then them showing Beba over and over again, just saying mean things, and it looks like it's gratuitous. And that for me has been, what's been the hardest part of that. That's been the hardest part
Yeah.
because, yeah,
As if I'm
go
just
ahead.
like, I would be talking shit about people for nothing. Which we talk it's annoying because obviously we talked about this
But not like this.
on the actual episode, but they cut it to be like, look at what this girl said and look at what the mom said and whatever. But it's like I've said it on our podcast, I'll say it here again, but like Marysol said something horrible about my sister. And it's like saying something to me. And so I don't feel bad for what I said. And I don't talk shit about everybody like that. I've literally only said that about Marysol. And to be fair, also on our podcast, whenever we were talking about Marysol or Alexia before Marysol had said this heinous thing about my sister, I was defending Marysol and defending Alexia because I actually was like, they're fine, whatever. Like, it's not a big
Yeah.
deal. It was like, I know that my mom and Alexia and Marysol had this like big falling out, but it wasn't big enough to me. And it didn't it didn't like rattle my mom enough for me to be like, yeah, fuck them. Like, who we should like tear them down. It was just like, yeah, I get it. You're not friends with them anymore. But also, like, Alexia is kind of funny and Marysol is kind of funny and who cares, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Beba
It
is
just
not,
took a turn
yeah.
when she crossed a line for me, you know? So I said what I said and I stand by it because of it was a reaction to something that had been said about my sister, which is saying something about me.
And she never said she wanted her dead. I never once said anything about death. Um, I
No.
agree she looks like a rotting corpse. I do. And I stand by that too. But the one thing that Beba is not my minion. If anybody that listens to Mommy Issues will know, when
Uh,
I,
that's an insult if you think I'm her minion because I've
right,
done so
You're
much to
not.
individuate from this woman.
right.
I love
And
my mom, but I am a very different person from my mom.
yeah, and she will call me out and she will, she didn't have anything against Marisol. She doesn't take on my fights. When I came back from the
No.
reunion, when I did that with Leah, she
Oh,
was like, but why did you do that? You're not, you know what I'm saying? She can be super objective, which I wish she wasn't because she's my daughter and I think she should be on my side all the time. But,
well.
I raised an independent thinker. And so I will be the fallout of that too. So she calls me out. So the fact that people think that I put her up to it or that she
Yeah.
has that in her heart for people and that she's just like, oh, you can go suck it. It's not
Well,
great. I have my daughters are college educated, super accomplished, super respected in their fields. They are all those things. So imagine for me as a mom to see how something is just taken, but the truth be told, she had a right to say what she said. It was mild for what was said. I think it was a mild insult considering the gravity of what was said. And she stands by it and I stand by her.
And just so everyone doesn't say the obvious to me, does anyone want to state what Marisol said to your
so
sister?
this is why it's really hard to talk about this because my sister is really private and what happened to her, she doesn't want people talking about it on a podcast. She sure as hell doesn't want it talked about on a Bravo show. So my sister is very adamant that like we are not to talk about this at all in any capacity. So no, we can't say it.
A
It's
lot
a
of people do know it,
it
David.
doesn't
And you
matter.
know it. It doesn't matter.
It
So
doesn't
we
matter.
don't need to say it, but it's out there.
It
And
feels very like Crystal from Real Houses of Beverly Hills from like last season when they're like, "What did Sutton say?" And she's like, "It was bad." I know, I
right.
understand that it sounds
No,
like
but
that, but it really is like just something that my sister went through something, and then
It was very
Marysol
tragic, and she mocked the tragedy.
Mommy, stop.
That's
Marysol
it.
I'm just saying, you cut people off, woman. You need to chill. You really need to
See what I mean?
chill. She said something bad, and then it was just like the fact that Marysol had a comment about it at all is enough to be like, what are you doing? Even if it was like, oh wow, sad. Even
Right.
that would be like, what are you doing? Shut up. You have no place to talk about this.
And it is out there in some respects. I saw comments, so I agree with you. I mean, before we move on from that topic to that point, like, what does your sister say about this? Like that it
She
is
doesn't,
we
she
can't
doesn't
talk.
listen. She doesn't
watch the shows
watch
anymore.
the show. She's
Wow.
done. She's like removed herself, and totally fair. And to be honest, I told my mom this on our episode that we recorded. I'm done with this. Like I've gotten to a point where I'm like, I don't want to watch Housewives anymore. That's like a separate thing. But specifically when it comes to Miami, because I'm like, it's just there. It's too much. There are some franchises at this point that I've like removed myself from, and Miami is becoming that for me, where I'm like, you guys, I can't anymore.
I'm still gonna watch.
I get it. Not wanting to watch Housewives in general is a whole nother thing because I
Yeah.
could go down
I
that road.
gotta say, I thought that this whole thing, because I've gotten bad at it before, and I don't know that it was bad. It was just
It wasn't a bad edit. They
it
just
wasn't
cut
a
stuff
bad
out.
edit. It was just look, the producer said it was so chaotic, and he wasn't there. He had a showrunner or whatever. He says, if I had been there, I would have compartmentalized that and gotten, because there was a lot of good footage. There was there was a lot of great stuff, and that they couldn't use. And I understand that they couldn't use it. I do understand when things are too dark, or things are like,
and not relevant to
and not relevant.
story.
Right. Look, when I went there, and I think if you want me to tell you the whole reason, or you can ask me whenever you want, I don't want to direct this whole thing.
No, well, that was like before we get into what wasn't seen, like, so what it was that where all the bodies are buried, and
Yeah.
things about Alexia and Marysol, and they thought, what, you're gonna now bring this out on a national TV show, and
Right.
Marysol's
I'm going to do this because of my loyalty towards Adriana. I mean, I don't have anything against Adriana, but in that show, my friendships were with Alexia and Marysol and Joanna. Those were my friendships. Now I'm friends with Joanna and Leah, not the other ones. I don't consider any of them friends. I like Karen, she's fine, and whatever. But friends that I talk to on the phone, that I visit, those two.
I want to talk about Leah and Joanna in a minute, but so tell us, like, what wasn't shown then? Like, what wasn't shown?
So,
like you said, like this was hours and hours, like you were there for hours and hours?
Yes. But, a total from beginning to end, a good 4 hours in that room, 2 hours. When I walked in and I had the cringy scene with Lisa, I brought, what do you call it? Nicole and Anthony some sauces, which they, I wanted to promote, and they told me, yeah, bring them. They didn't show them. And then I sat there, and my whole purpose, and Beba knows this, because when I was deciding, do I want to go on the show? It's a scary thing. It's like, of course, you have a brand, you have a podcast, you want to promote stuff. And I know that, viewers, they love a cameo, to see people from before. And I'm always getting messages, oh, come back, whatever. I'm like, why not? Let me just be lighthearted and fun. Well, it was anything but. And then I thought, one of the things that really pains me to this day is the fact that people keep bringing up what I did and said about Leah's son at the reunion. That is something, it's one of my biggest regrets. I have talked to Leah. I have apologized to Leah, to RJ. It's the whole thing is just, it was not my finest moment. And I thought, I have said that before. I've said it on this podcast. I've said it on our podcast, but I guess it doesn't get to anybody unless you say it in the same forum in which you said it to begin with. So I thought, when they tell me, hey, what are you doing here? I would say, well, actually, and say what I was going to say. Well, when I got there, there wasn't any of that. There was like, why are you here? Marysol says you want her dead. And so I'm like, what? I've never said I wanted her dead. My daughter called her a rotting corpse, if that's what you're referring to, whatever. And then she goes, but why does she call her that? Why does she do that? And I said, I can't discuss it. And we had made a why I cried so much afterwards out of the guilt. But I said, I can't discuss it. And then Nicole says, Julia knows the story. And Julia goes, I know the story. And it wasn't me who said it. It was her who told the story. And the story triggered her for whatever reason, her own